Welcome in to Remedial Adventuring 401, a new REUPLOAD TTRPG podcast. I'm Adam Souza, and I will be your guide through this fantastical journey as your DM. Prepare for an epic tale with 6 adventurers, each bearing the weight of their past failures from their original parties. Now thrown together in the remedial class, they're on a quest for redemption and their elusive adventuring license in the captivating realm of Alorium. So, gather around the virtual table, wield your dice, and brace for a tale of second chances, daring escapades, and the pursuit of greatness amidst setbacks. Welcome to Remedial Adventuring 401, where new legends emerge from failure. We had left off with all of you together, having just bought a ticket to who knows where, and you were boarding a ship, an airship called the Skyward Serenity. It will be leaving Astoria Prime, and even more than that, it'll be leaving Alorium, going to one of the neighboring countries. Without a care of where you were going, you bought a second-class ticket. As you guys go to the ship itself, you see that it's a combination of magic and mechanics. So it has these like thruster-looking things on the side, but it also looks like those thrusters are partially run by like runes and things like that. So this is still a magical ship, but also has like a little bit of mechanics to it. And you do feel like, oh, this is like very advanced for society or whatnot. The body of itself is very long. It's a luxury cruise liner. It's not just a ferry boat. You know, this has 3 different boarding parties, one for each class. You guys are second class, so you'll be joining your fellow second class people. And for, you know, Alorium second class is whatever, but to the rest of the world, second class is pretty high up there. Like you're gonna have a good time. Like it's not, you know, cramped or anything.
Okay.
Fares are included.
I mean, I've, experienced first class, and that seems pretty much the way to go.
Well, I mean, even with the second class, as you guys are getting ready to board, you can see some of like the advertisements of like what the ship has to offer, and obviously you're looking at the second class offerings. So on the second class deck, they have what is called the Luminara Lounge, which is a vibrant social space featuring live music, magical illusions, dance performances, where anybody in second or first class can come down, unwind, socialize, and enjoy the entertainment. You also have the Astral Cafeteria, which is a casual dining area, which has a diverse menu of hearty meals and snacks, where, again, second and first class passengers can enjoy a variety of culinary delights, from comfort foods to international cuisine. And then the whole part of the ship that is dedicated to the sleeping area is what's called the Stellar Dormitories for the second class, where you have well-appointed cabins designed for comfort and functionality, and you have cozy accommodations with shared facilities. The 6 of you are each given a singular bed cabin. You're gonna group 2 by 2. The 2 of you will share like basically a bathroom between the 2 rooms.
No.
But you are given your own sleeping quarter. However, it is still early in the day, so you have plenty of time to enjoy the ship and move around a bit. In addition to the second class section of the ship, there is a area that is like non-designated. It's just the observation deck. Anyone can go there. And it has what's called the Ethereal Observatory, which is this stunning open-air deck where passengers from all classes can marvel at the celestial scenery as you are flying through the air. It features comfortable seating and magical telescopes so you can look at planets and stars alike. And to bring up a point, they do have an activity every night. It's called the Ethereal Stargazing, where they have guided stargazing sessions with an expert astronomer that offers certain parts of the journey. Passengers can learn about the magical constellations and celestial phenomena and, you know, any type of things like that. In addition to the observation deck, there is the Skyway Market with the Astral Bazaar, where the marketplace offers magical trinkets, souvenirs, enchanted goods. You can go and buy unique items and gifts to commemorate your journey. Unbeknownst to you, there is also the engine room, which you are not allowed in, and the crew quarters, which you are not allowed in. There's also the third class deck, which of course you are allowed in, but for the most part wouldn't want to. And then the first class deck, which you are only allowed in if you are invited. As you guys board the ship, or you're like in line to basically board the ship, you're literally on the gangplank going to the ship, and the ship in itself is actually still floating midair, like it hasn't landed on the ground, so it's kind of hovering and still kind of shaking as if it was in the water, so it bobs up and down a little bit, but it's floating in the air. And you guys are on this gangplank joining the boat. Is there anything that's on your minds or on your lips as you begin boarding?
If I wanted to, after we take off, if I don't like my cabin, can I upgrade my ticket?
You could definitely communicate with the staff and ask to upgrade if you would like.
Okay.
However, of course, that would be due to availability, but you're pretty sure that, you know what, give me a survival check.
You said a survival?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Where is the ship going?
Well, unfortunately, it was not printed on the ticket because they would assume you would know before you bought your ticket.
Okay, that sounds like us, really. A match made in heaven.
I got an 18.
Okay, with an 18 on survival, Cassandra, you know that there's definitely more than enough space here. This is not an overcrowded ship. There's probably going to be plenty of open rooms. Now, the only question is, are there open rooms in first class specifically to accommodate you? You would gather yes, but, of course, it's not 100% certain.
What was the price difference between the second class and the first class?
Second class was 1 gold, and the first class was, I believe, 10.
Yeah, okay. I would definitely like to upgrade if at all possible.
Okay. So you can definitely ask when we get inside.
Now I can invite all of you up there with me.
Hey!
Loopholes. Okay. So as you guys enter, is there anything else on your mind or anything? You are basically a group of people, and you are between other second-class passengers as you're boarding. You're getting close to the ship at this point.
Do we see anyone suspicious or law enforcement? Anybody talking about fires, perhaps, that is following us there?
You know what? Everybody here can give me a perception check.
Oh boy. Eustace is like, pretty boat.
Okay, Hollybrook got a 19. Hollybrook can see that there are almost like a military type group on the board of the ship. They don't seem to be like, an occupying force or anything like that. They just seem to be kind of here to keep an eye on things. They're not doing anything. They don't seem to have like an ulterior motive. They're probably hired by the ship. Also, they do not hear anything regarding a fire.
Excellent.
Oh, Carbon Fan got a 4. Cool.
Is this wood?
As you guys enter into the second class floor, you see it's very ornate. It's also well lit, and the entire boat seems to be illuminated with magical torches. They do not have a flame, but they do produce light, so it's nice that it's able to keep everything lit well. It's very pretty inside. They have like ornate designs on the walls, and there's clocks, and there's seating areas just wherever, and everybody seems to be piling in. As you look around, you see women wearing dresses and gowns. They're accessorized with bracelets and necklaces, and you see men wearing fine suits with leather shoes. Some of you, I believe, are going to feel rather underdressed for this gathering of people. I don't think everybody is wearing suits and gowns unless they're wearing the same things they've wore like a week ago.
Oh, I don't know if Eustace would have checked the dress. He probably would have checked the dress code.
I think you bought the ticket after you got here, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Okay. Yeah, Eustace feels the eyes of judgment upon him, and chooses modesty, and sort of humility.
Eustace still swears the clothes that were got ripped off by the wildcat that night he almost died. Still had blood on it.
Do I still have my cat rug?
You do have your cat rug. It's sticking. The head is sticking out from your pocket, or your bag, rather.
Dear God.
Perfect.
Is there like a something that would be akin to like a public bathroom in this space?
No, but you could very easily go to your rooms, in which case you would have your bathrooms.
Okay, I want to go change into my fine clothes.
For sure. Does everybody feel like they would like to go and change?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Sure.
I suppose I have to.
Everybody goes to their rooms. It is a relatively small room as far as like luxury is concerned, but comparative to some of the other things that you've possibly stayed in during your adventures, like a hotel or an inn or things like that. Some people sleep in barns. Like, this is still very, very nice, regardless of the size. And even with the size, there's still a bed, that you have a window that looks outwards. You have a area that has like a vanity, and it also has a bowl of water where you can wash your face. So it's still very nice. It's not like bare minimum or anything like that. That third class does not have as much as this does.
Okay.
But at this point, all of you are able to get dressed. I would like for one of you to designate yourselves to give a dexterity check just to see how long it takes you all to get dressed.
I have +3. Anybody have better?
I think Carbon thing just went.
I got a negative
was
one.
it one roll for everybody? Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a +4, but
Why are we
Do it.
rolling for changing clothes? I'm so confused.
It's just how long it takes the group to do this. That's all.
so are we taking the Carbon Fangs roll?
Just trying to figure out if we missed the launch or not.
I roll to change clothes every morning. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, at this point, you basically can hear that the gangplanks have been taken up and that the ship will be leaving shortly. So at this point, there's no one else coming on, there's no one else coming off, and you'll be airborne relatively soon.
Is there like a porter or like somebody that works for the ship that like is hanging out in the dormitory area in case people need stuff?
I would say probably, yeah, sure.
I would like to find that person.
Sure, for sure. You see a human male. He's dressed up in the ship's colors, and he looks at you and says, "Hi, are you enjoying all of your accommodations so far?"
I was hoping that I could find someone to get an upgrade. I'm not quite happy with my room. I would like to go up to first class if it's available.
Oh, of course. If you would like to go to the sitting room on the second class floor where we're already at, there is 2 sides that each have desks. One can give you that, so you can definitely make that arrangement.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm gonna find my way over there.
Sure. So you head over. What are the others up to?
Good question.
I has actually kind of wants to mingle in the opposite direction and see if he can find any like plucky lower class artist on board with a sketchbook of tasteful nudes.
Find one that looks like Celine Dion.
I was gonna say that's probably bad luck, but okay.
There's no icebergs in the sky, Adam.
I mean, there's floating rocks. That's even worse because the rocks are solid. Anywho, sure. You can go down to the third and looking for people. Give me an investigation check just to kind of gauge the third class deck.
Well,
Okay. What I would also like is then a insight check.
sure. 8.
A lot of these people are weird, and you don't like that. And not weird in like, oh, you're poor, I don't like the poor. It's just weird as in like, I don't get your deal, and I don't know why either. Yeah, but there's plenty of people around, so if you wanted to spend time with them, you can definitely do so.
So it's like most of it's just Andy Warhol's friends. Like,
Look at Jackson Pollock painting down here.
I'll mingle for a little bit, try to catch the read the atmosphere, see if there's any interesting gossip.
At this point, I think you would notice that on the second floor, everybody was speaking common. On the third class deck, however, not so much. There's lots of different languages being spoken here. These people are wearing like work type clothing. It's not dresses and suits. These people are, the women that still wear skirts and blouses and stuff, and the men are wearing, breeches and iron shirts, but they're not fancy in any ways. And a lot of what they're talking about is the day-to-day, life of like the working class, basically.
Yeah, all right, I tried.
Was there anything you were hoping for?
Well, I mean, we don't really know where we're going. Like, maybe
Yeah. Well,
catch
for that,
wind
I
of
think
any gossip, any major events or things going on where we're going to land.
Okay, you know what? Give me a perception check. Okay, a 2. Yeah. Everybody's speaking a language other than common, and it makes you mad.
Right.
I'd like to go visit the staff quarters. I don't change yet.
Okay. So you go straight to staff quarters.
Yeah.
Are you going towards like steward type staff, or are you going to like engine worker type staff?
Engine workers, because I haven't changed.
Okay, sure. You go to the bottom of the ship. As you go down, there's definitely going to be like doors closed and gates blocking off paths and stuff like that. It's not impossible to get through, but at what point would you stop at any, or would you just keep going and sneaking in?
I think I'd just keep going, seeing how far I could get.
Give me a stealth check.
21.
Okay. You sneak your way through gate after gate and making sure to also like close the gate behind you. And because everybody is currently getting ready for the ship to leave, no one's out in these halls. Passengers aren't supposed to be down here, and anyone who's working is already at their stations. So it's actually quite easy for you to kind of ignore or rather be ignored. Eventually you will actually come into an area where there are definitely like engine rooms as well as the quarters for these engine workers. Would you like to go to the engine room itself, or would you like to go to the quarter?
I really just want to see what I can overhear, like where we're going, if there's anything going on board or anybody on board that shouldn't be, that kind of thing. Because if anybody's going to know about it, it's going to be them.
Okay, sure. Are you passively listening, or are you trying to interact with people and asking questions?
I'm passively listening.
Okay, give me a perception check, please.
23.
Okay. With a 23, first thing you find out, you're going to the country of Verdantia, and more specifically, you are going to Verdantia's capital city, the Sylvan Haven.
Is that one of the ones we learned about?
So you haven't learned about the city specifically, but Verdantia is one of the ones that you learned about at the masquerade.
Is it the cold one?
No, Verdantia is very verdant, so it is bright and green and jungle-like.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You also find that this ship is expected to travel for about 7 days. And then as far as people who are not supposed to be on, you do actually find that this boat is definitely underfilled. There are a lot of empty rooms, and that it seemed to be that the boat is not caring who buys a ticket, which kind of makes sense since you guys just walked on the day of. So they haven't heard yet of anyone in particular, but you've definitely learned of that big, hole in security of just anyone could join this cruise if they paid for a ticket.
Okay. I'm probably satisfied and will slowly make my way back up.
Okay, sounds good. Carbon Fang, what are you doing?
Did I hear correctly that this boat is sailing for 7 days?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, interesting. It's a longer trip than I think we signed up for. But I'm gonna find the bar, and similar to IHAS, I'm gonna try to figure out where we're headed.
Sure.
So I'm gonna find a bar and just like chit-chatting with the other passengers,
Sure. Would you like to go to the Luminara Lounge on the second class deck, or would you like to go down to the third class deck and try to make chums with some of the working class?
Let's do the second, the Luminaire Lounge, please.
You find a vibrant cast of, societal people. And as you make your way to the bar, there are actually quite a few people here already, even though the ship itself hasn't even left.
Mm-hmm.
As you join in and you're kind of listening in and possibly, would you speak to people or just listen?
I would probably sit at the bar and start to talk to whoever that seems friendly and up for chatting.
Please give me a persuasion check.
Ooh, nice means.
With a 19. Yes. So you find a couple. You find very easily that they are the Harringtons. This is Benjamin and Margaret Harrington. They're a middle-aged couple, and they hail from Elorium.
That's where we're from, right?
Yes. And they are second class on this ship. And very quickly you realize that these people are accustomed to a certain level of comfort and refinement. Like, it's very clear to you compared to like your life of an adventurer. These people have no calluses on their hand, if that makes sense to you. And also, the other thing that you kind of get from them is they start talking about where they're going. So you do end up learning like, oh, we're going to Sylvan Haven. But the way they talk about it is the way like British explorers would have like described anywhere in the world that wasn't Europe. So it would have been something along the lines of like, oh, like these people, like it's so quaint how they have their own society. Ha 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 ha. Kind of thing.
Ha 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 ha. Oh, you eat food as well. How quaint.
Oh, but you don't
Thinks
have
it's people.
you don't have forks though, so you're not quite civilized. But so you see Benjamin, he's this portly gentleman, and you see Margaret, who's a little bit more graceful and a little bit more warm than Benjamin, and you kind of get the fact that she probably doesn't get out of the house much, whereas he, you know, he's the one that makes the money, and he's definitely not doing hard labor, but he's doing that, you know, rich person thing of like, oh, I hate everybody else because they're going to take my money, even though no, but yeah. So that's like your first glance. And as you speak more so with Margaret, you can see that while Benjamin is much more dismissive, Margaret's actually very curious. There's a little bit of condensation, but a lot of curiosity. She regards it as picturesque yet primitive, but it is a tourist attraction almost. This is why they're on this ship. They are going somewhere to go look at it, and then they're going to come back. Actually, what I would like is an insight check.
Okay. 13.
So she talks about, you know, like going there and then having the ship, or either this ship or whatever ship, to go back to Elorium after they do their sightseeing. And for some reason, this bothers Benjamin enough to be visually like, not roll his eyes, but kind of seem a little grumpy, but you don't understand why.
I would like to ask them if their trip is for business or pleasure.
Oh, this is pleasure. This is going to be our third honeymoon.
What are you guys going to do there? What are your plans when you get there?
Oh, we're going to have a guide bring us around the jungles. We heard about this fantastical place. It seems to be a whole village on the back of a turtle. I don't know if that's real, but I want to see it.
Well, yeah.
Okay. How long are you going to be there? Is this a whole tour? How many days will you be there? How long is your vacation?
So we're going to be on this boat for about 7 days, and then we're going to be in Verdantia for about 2 more weeks, and then we'll take another week back. So it's about a month trip.
Oh, that sounds amazing. What else do you have planned while over there?
I'm going to make Benjamin eat actual food from Verdantia. It's going to be so funny.
Okay. Is it will it be your first time there?
Oh yes, we have never been there before. We have gone to a couple of our neighboring countries, but never so far.
Well, what else do you got planned besides eating and whatever the turtle thing that she said?
Whatever.
Oh well, whatever the tour guide says. He would know more than we do. Like I said, we've never been there, so we don't really know what to expect, and that's half the fun.
Oh, cool. Are you here with a group or are you by yourself?
Well, it's just the 2 of us, and once we get there, we're going to have the guide. So it'll be 3 of us. And actually, so supposedly, when we bought our tickets, we found out so there's going to be a guide, and then there's going to be 2 armed guards and a translator.
Guards? Why do you need guards for?
I don't know.
Okay. And is Benjamin completely interested in this conversation? Is he just like rolling his eyes or like ignoring us? What's happening?
No, actually, while she's talking about this, he is actually paying attention. And he seems to think that everything is completely normal.
Okay. Benjamin, are you looking forward to this trip?
Well, yes. Every 2 years, we take a full month off. This is our biennial vacation. And because it is our 30-year anniversary, we are taking it in celebration of such.
Whose idea was it to find this location for your honeymoon?
So she actually juts in. She said, "Oh, we had a map, and I threw a dart, and it found itself right there."
Cute. That's so cute.
Gag me with a spoon.
Okay, I don't know what else I should ask.
You'll spend a little bit of time. You did get a good persuasion check earlier, so you'll have some time that you're talking with them. Did anyone else not have a time? I guess Hollybrook didn't have a time.
And Eustace has not done anything.
Oh, Eustace didn't do anything. Eustace, what are you up to?
So Eustace kind of sees this as, a little bit of dangerous to be up in the air like this. So I think Eustace wants to provide his services and perhaps say a prayer for the safety of the captain and crew, for guiding wisdom and a hedge of protection around them, and all of the other usual evangelical turns of phrase. So Eustace wants to go see if he can go meet the captain and the crew and give a blessing for safety's sake.
Okay, let me ask you. So what clothes did you change into? Like, how is your appearance right now?
Fancy. The fancy clothes from the other night.
So with that, do you have any indication that you are of the cloth, so to speak?
Yeah. So Eustace would probably be wearing a necklace, a modest necklace of a symbol of the faith of his particular denomination, and he would very much look the part culturally, if that makes sense. Sort of in the same way you know a lot of pastors all kind of look the same. They have the same haircut and the same terrible glasses, like a lot of televangelists, like those guys. People would be able to tell this guy's not really cool. Like he's kind of a square about it.
Are you also just vaguely sweaty?
Yes, yeah.
Just uncomfortably moist.
Dabbing your forehead with a handkerchief constantly.
Exactly. Yes.
Going back to your religious iconography, to confirm, you worship Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. So I would like a religion check with disadvantage.
Okay. Let's see. 15.
All right. With a 15, you manage to kind of bamboozle anyone who's like protecting the captain. You're like, I'm a cleric, and then you just walk past him. Right now, the captain is literally trying to make the boat leave. They're definitely busy, and it's very apparent as soon as you walk into this room. People are like running back and forth. And you know what? Do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
I do not believe so. Let me check.
Nope. You do not. Okay. So I would like a raw intelligence check also with disadvantage.
Okay. 10. Ah, man, that could have been an 19.
But with a 10, you at least can tell, like, oh, this is the bridge of a ship. But any type of, like, water ship that you've gone on, it's very simple. You have a man at a wheel, so to speak, and then it's just like people pulling on rigging and things like that. This looks to be completely different. There's people doing magic. There's people, focusing on runes. The captain himself does not have a wheel, but instead has several levers and buttons and things like that. And the other thing that you noticed is this room that you're in is actually, I'm going to use the term landlocked. It doesn't have, external windows. However, as you enter this room, it suddenly feels like you're on a deck, except that there's no rest of the boat. It's almost like the ocean is just surrounding you, and then the rest of the boat doesn't exist. It's a weird feeling. Truth be told, it's just an illusion, but you realize that this is the way that the captain is able to see in a 360 view what's around the ship.
Oh, so he's got like a giant wraparound screen, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty slick. What's the spell's refresh rate? Is this a high def? What are we looking at here?
Whatever Apple's eye retina scan, whatever shit.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
But yeah, so they're all like very busy right now, and none of them actually seem to notice that you've entered.
Interesting. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I'm suddenly very thinking this journey's in need of prayer. If just somebody that bought a ticket can walk in and stand right behind the captain. Cool. Okay. How many people are in the room? Like, how much? You said they're setting these things up and everything.
Between 10 and 20. More than 10, less than 20.
Okay, gotcha. I guess I would pull somebody aside that seems the least busy and introduce myself and say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to bless this, communicate with the captain and bless this trip.
Sure. Well, okay, very, very specific. I'm going to ask you, do you specifically point out your emblem of your faith?
No, I probably don't, because I'm thinking non-denominational blessing for this specifically.
Okay, 2 checks. First, I need a religion check just to make them believe that you are of the faith.
Okay. Oh.
Then I need a persuasion check, now with disadvantage because you got a 6 on your religion.
Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay.
A 13. Basically, the man realizes now that you are on the bridge of the ship and says, sir, you need to leave. We do have a chaplain on board. He will bless the trip. No worries. But please, we need you to go back to your quarters until we disembark, which should be any second.
Oh, okay. I guess I will do the confidence and entitlement of a religious white man and say I was led here clearly through circumstance. I should not be allowed to get through this room, but yet somehow I have. May I just have a quick prayer with you? I feel led by the Spirit.
All right, give me a deception check.
Okay. Hey, a 19.
With a 19, he thinks for a second, and he's like, yeah, I guess if you've made it this far, you've had to...
He's probably like, okay, if this will get you out of here faster, okay.
He does say, however, he can't bring you to the captain because the captain is indisposed. However, what he can do is he's going to bring you out of this room if you let him.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I have to. What's I guess while I'm probably walking out with the hand on the back, on the shoulder, like being directed out, can I ask specifically for some intercessory prayer by knowing the captain's name? Because who am I going to pray for? For wisdom and guidance.
So you're asking him what the captain's name is?
Yes, yeah, because prayers work best when you know their names.
Okay, give me a persuasion check. I'll say with advantage.
Ooh. 14.
I mean, it's not hard. You're asking about the captain. It's not a secret. And it says, yes, that would be Captain Octavius Stormwood.
Oh, okay. Boy, that's a heck of a name. That's like the D&D version of like Smith Squarejaw. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I will wait for him to lead me. Do I notice anything around or anything out of place, or I can't tell if this is odd to say, but I can't tell if Eustace is just nervous for flying or if he genuinely thinks there's an ominous sign here.
Give me either an intelligence check or a survival check.
Okay. 14.
So something does strike you as odd, and the fact is that the entire captain's bridge is literally in the middle of the second class floor. It's not on the first class, it's not above the first class, it's not down by the engines. It's weirdly enough in the middle of second class.
Oh, that is weird.
However, this man is going to lead you to the front of the ship and actually lead you to the main deck. And as you actually exit onto the main outdoor deck, you see like the bow, or is it the bow? I forget, the pointy part in the front. And basically he brings you down right there. And there's a little, almost like a specific, almost like shrine-like thing. And it says, if you would like to make prayer or anything, whatever you'd like to do, you can do so right here.
Now say you're flying, Jack, preacher man. Okay, yeah, I will. I guess I will stand on the small little like platform recession thing, and invoke the lady's voice, the many facets of Joaquin Phoenix. the lady's voice, the jester, the master, the gladiator, and the irrational man, and I do the five pointed wing, and then the wing flap for the Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
And I, really lean into the terrifying imagery of fear-based religion, and talk about like may the master guide Octavius Stormwood's hand so that he may avoid any and all dangers, weather, material, spiritual, warfare, magical, etc., etc. Just really, really inducing all kinds of fear in this worker accidentally.
Give me a performance check.
Oh, 22.
Okay. Yeah, you do a very intense, very theatrical prayer. This guy is just kind of like also starting to sweat now, that weird awkward moist. But as you finish, and literally as you kind of finish and end your prayer in whatever theological way you do, you feel a small jolt as the ship pulls away from port. We're going to break from you now. Cassandra, we're going to go back to you. You are on the second class floor. You're in the seating area, and you come off. You see that there's two large and like semicircle type desks with workers behind them, and they're wearing the same uniform that you saw from the steward before. And you see one of them definitely talks about like accommodations and things like that, whereas the other one talks about like excursions and things to do as far as like entertainment. So there's a short line. There's maybe one or two people in line waiting for someone, but eventually it is your turn. And as you approach, you see another human male, and he is behind there. Give me a quick perception check.
A 7.
Okay. This is a large man. He's kind of beefy, but he's very well groomed, and he's wearing like the same outfit. But yeah, you can definitely ask to be upgraded here.
That's what I would like to do.
As you request an upgrade, he's going to make a check. What I would like you to do first is to give me a D20, and you want a low number.
Okay. A 1.
Hey, okay. So literally this guy needs... So he's going to roll a percentile dice. He needs to get a 1 in order for there to not be a room. Okay, he got a 28. So he's like, yeah, there's definitely a first class room available. He does the basics of like, oh, what's your name? What room are you in? And then he upgrades your suite. He does, of course, take away the key to your second class room, but he gives you a new key to your first class room. And he mentions that porters will be taking anything that was left in the room and will bring it up to your new suite.
Perfect. Now, can you point me where I could get a drink?
Well, I do suggest you check out what's on the first class floor, and he points to this really nice staircase. It's nice and wide. It's just a single thing. It's not like a spiral or anything, but it goes up. And he says that will take you straight to the seating area, and just past the seating area is the first class eating area. I do suggest checking out that bar, as they will have a much wider selection of food and drink.
Perfection. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm gonna float my ass up that staircase and see what I can find.
All right. So, Cassandra, you go up to the first class portion of the ship. The first class, second class was nice enough, but the first class, this is like for the wealthy. These are people wearing laced corsets. They're wearing expensive gowns with long gloves and satin shoes. You see the men in literal tuxedos, top hats, polished shoes. And as you come into this parlor, it's lavishly decorated with plush furniture, magical chandeliers, excessive lounge areas with a panoramic view. This is the highest part of the ship, other than the observatory, which is just above it. The first class passengers here have premium drinks, but just like second class, they are socializing, and they're in private gatherings as well as just by themselves. And just behind the parlor, you see the dining area. It is very much a fine dining restaurant. You don't see yet any of the chefs or even any of the food, but you can tell like this is a very high class dining area.
Perfect. I would like to get a drink. And then I would like to flop down somewhere in the middle of a large, like not in a group of people, but around groups of people, and just kind of passively listen to conversations.
Okay, sure. What type of drink would you like?
I don't know, something alcoholic. Did you put something in the
Not yet, no.
notes? Okay.
Sure. You end up getting what is called the punch à la romaine, a lemon-flavored egg cream, but it's also got champagne in it as well as rum.
Perfect.
And after you finish your drink, you go to your suite. You have a private cabin with enchanting views. You have all the comfort and all the magical amenities you could think of, and it is much larger than even the second class, and it's even larger than your hotel room when you were in the Golden Griffin, so it's quite nice.
Excellent. And then I wanted to sit in the bar area and kind of listen to people talk and see if I can pick anything up.
Sure. First, what I would like from you is a charisma save.
Okay. 10.
You are listening to these people talk about first world problems, and it's annoying. You can definitely listen, but you're starting to they're very quickly getting on your nerves. You're like, oh, I grew up with this, I don't want to. But you're still able to listen in. So I would like a perception check, but with disadvantage, please.
Okay, I got a 10 and a 20.
So your disadvantage is a 10.
Yes.
So with a 10, the one thing that you hear is basically, it's very much just like what Carbon Fang listened to about the second class, where it's all like, oh, how quaint about this other country existing. But you also do pick up people are talking about the Adventuring Academy. Not anything in particular, but kind of just the fact that it exists, which is a little weird to hear in the first class bar. But you do pick up on it, and as you try to like listen in, they like change the subject to something droll, and you're just like, oh, whatever. But you've at least picked up that someone was at one point talking about the academy.
Perfect. Well, I think I would like to do the spoiled rich girl thing, where I just sit in like a chair, like all flopped out, like I'm bored, and sigh, and hope somebody comes to entertain me.
Give me a performance check.
Okay. 14.
Okay. With a 14, I think someone will probably come over to you in a minute, but we're going to switch back to someone else. We're going to go to Myrtle. You have exited from the engine rooms, and in doing so, you have basically, or rather in going to the engine rooms, you had to pass through the third class accommodations. Would you go back to second class? Would you do anything in third class? Check out first class? Check out the deck? What would you like to do?
I would probably just go to second class.
You find yourself back at second class. Where would you be going? Would you go to the lounge, the cafeteria, to your room?
I'm guessing it's probably been a while since we've eaten. So I'm going to go get some food and kind of try to see what's happening.
You go to the Astral Cafeteria, which is the second class eating hall. You see that they have different foods. It's an interesting thing because you know what? Give me either intelligence or survival check.
19.
Yeah. Okay. With a 19, you're looking at this menu, and it's not like the menu is bad in any way, but it's just kind of like, why? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, these foods are good foods, but it's a weird combination of food. So you're looking at the menu. You see that they have curry chicken with rice. They've got baked haddock, but with a shrimp sauce. Then there's a lamb with mint sauce, as well as turkey with cranberry sauce. But then also they have a like boiled potatoes with a plum pudding and a wine jelly. And like the menu starts to go off after that. Like these items are kind of more outlandish of like, why would I order that? And why are these things together? But you do have some basic options if you would like chicken or fish or lamb or turkey.
Is there like a predominant nationality or anything?
Okay, I'll put that in with your 19. So what's happening is the reason why you start hearing like these foods that get weird and you're like, why the hell is this that way? The food is all being Alorium cuisine, but they're using ingredients not native to Alorium and they don't know what to do with it.
Okay. I'll take the turkey. Why not?
Okay. Ahaz, what are you up to? You were in the third class cabin.
Yeah.
What are you up to at this point? You've been, making your way amongst the third class people. Most of them do not, or at least are not, speaking common.
Yeah.
Would you try to speak directly to them, or are you just kind of checking them out?
I'm checking them out, seeing, and at this point, since I'm kind of disappointed in trying to understand the conversation, I'm gonna look for anybody like doing music, games of chance, my usual get in with the gamblers kind of thing.
Sure, for sure. Please give me a investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You can find either of those, whatever you would like. There's going to be dancing and there's going to be card games. You can do either of those.
Okay. I'll do card games.
Sure. You see people playing cards. They're like, because even though it's third class, like they still have furniture. They're not just down in the galley hanging out on boxes. So there's people at tables, people sitting around in chairs, etc. And yeah, they're playing a card game, and it's very quickly apparent what card game they're playing. It's a game that you have played before, so if you would like to join in, you may do so. Yeah. They do seem to be playing for money, but they're playing for like copper pieces,
right? So
it's very much like negligible amounts.
Sure, I'll join in.
Give me a flat D20. It's just a luck check.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you start doing that. Now, what I would like from you is a charisma check to see if they hate you for winning.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't need to speak the language to know they're speaking shit about you. And very quickly, no one wants to play with you.
Right.
But give me a D4.
Yeah. Okay.
You make so many copper pieces in so little time that you have the equivalent of 2 gold. So you can add 2 gold. They do not like you. So after doing that, what would you like to do? You've had some game of chance. What's next? So the boat has departed. So you are now up in the air.
I bow out of the games of chance. Kind of like hands up, like, all right, I see I've done a bit too well here. I'll just try to ingratiate myself to the music a little bit before I head on up to the second class deck.
Easy enough. You listen to the music. You know what? Give me a history check.
Yeah, no.
You have never heard this music in your life. What is that instrument? I don't understand it. It makes you mad. This is how Ahaz became a Republican. All right, so you end up leaving. Carbon Fang, you were at the bar. I don't know if you would know it or not, but one of your friends is nearby in the eating area. It's up to you what you would like to do. You could stay with your friends, you could go anywhere on the ship, or you could go to the eating area for the second class.
I'll go join up with my friends.
Okay, so none of them are together. So who would you like to find?
Who's in the room?
I believe Myrtle is the closest to you right now.
Okay, so I guess I would see Myrtle first, and I'll come up and we just sort of exchange information, and just like told her about what I learned from our conversation with what's his name, Margaret and Benjamin.
Okay, so Myrtle, you see Carbon Fang come over, and the two of you discuss. You actually both pretty much figured out the same information. Although I think Carbon Fang, you got a little bit more flavor to it. So Myrtle, it's up to you how you would like to respond.
I told her what I found out. Verdantia, and there's a bunch of empty rooms on board, and I got down really far in the ship and nobody noticed.
I wonder if the ship makes stops like along the way to pick up more passengers, because it's suspiciously empty, right? Or it's supposed to like pick up people from the island, like in the slave trade.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Give me a history check. Okay, with a 20, Alorium may not be the greatest, but it does not have slavery.
Okay.
Hooray!
There's no human trafficking or slavery, or at least not legally.
Oh, no human trafficking?
Not legally, at least.
Then it's kind of curious on a business level why the ship is so empty.
You know what? Actually, with a 22-year history check, the airship industry in itself is actually it's not brand new, but it's still like early on. Like the technology that allows this ship to fly is pretty new. Maybe in the definitely in the last lifetime. Maybe 10 to 20 years of worth. When it started, it was definitely like a novelty, and a lot of people kind of flocked to it. But it's definitely had a bit of a slump recently, but it's still doing enough. And I guess give me another history check, very because it's a different understanding or something.
Oh,
Okay.
9.
Yeah, you have never gone to Verdantia or any such country, so you don't really understand what I would have said. So it's okay. But yeah, it is a relatively new thing, and but it's not so new that the novelty hasn't worn off.
I see. And is this destination known to be a vacation destination?
I would say you would know that from the original 20. So Verdantia is there's definitely like a country there. It is a country, but it's basically like if Britain wanted to vacation in like Cambodia in the 1800s. It's not like a resort town, but there's places that they can specifically go to and be tour guided around or whatever. But it's also it's that idea.
I see. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that information. I feel like we're missing something. Like we
Not
haven't talked to enough
particularly.
people, maybe.
I think also you just made a completely random choice on how you're going there. We're going to pull away. So Carbon Fang and Myrtle are together. Eustace, you are finishing up, or you've already finished up your prayer. What would you like to the air is not like whooshing past like you're about to fall over or anything, but it's definitely faster than like a normal carriage ride, but it's not supersonic or anything like that.
Okay, good. Yeah, Eustace will probably... I don't know if this is his first time flying or not. So, I think he may...
Give me a D20.
Okay, yeah, let's go for it.
So if it's above a 10, you've done this before. And if it's a high number, you've done it several times.
All right.
A 6. You've never gone flying before.
All right, so Eustace is terrified and fascinated at the same time. And it's just like, wee! Very childlike glee at being up in the air like a bird, but much like actual flights, that kind of wears off pretty quickly. So yeah, I guess he'll head back in and try to find the others.
Before you do, actually, because you don't know where you're going, technically speaking, give me a perception check.
12.
Okay, so you feel like you're going to Revoria, which is not your actual destination, but is the next country you will be flying over. Revoria is a neighboring country to Elorium, and it is also one of its allies. That is a country that has high mountains, low valleys, and dense forests. It's definitely like an ally of Elorium. So you would assume that that's where you're going.
Interesting. Okay. And which cardinal direction is that?
You are going east by northeast.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Where am I in relation to, like, if I were to walk back in, what would be the first section or deck I encounter?
You would go down to the second class deck, and you would be in the seating area.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I'll look for where is since he didn't know what the others are, he's probably going to go get something to eat.
Sure. You find your way, and very quickly you see Carbon Fang and Myrtle having a short conversation.
Oh, I wave to them, like, hello, and walk over and sit down.
You see Myrtle is eating some turkey with cranberry sauce, and Carbon Fang has just finished giving a point of some sort. And they see both of you approach. So Carbon Fang and Myrtle, if you're there, you can join in.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hello. What was the name of the allied country? Sorry, I just blanked on it. That I thought we were flying toward.
Revoria.
Revoria. Okay, so I guess I'll tell them I was, so I just saw that I think we're headed to Revoria, since he did mention, Eustace did say earlier, he's like, where are we going? So he's like, I think I got a clue, we're going to Revoria.
I'll also remind Carbon Fang, just in case you forgot. I don't know if you did or not, but just as a reminder, you did buy a whole bunch of maps.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Yes,
So that's what these things
And
have been dragging
All
around.
of the maps, got posted in the maps. No.
they're in the in-universe knowledge, and if you click on places, you'll see each of the maps. The only one that I don't say specifically is Alorium, since you are in Alorium. Where you have one for Eldermore, one for Torngard, one for Revoria, one for Frentia, and one for the
I
Ice
like how we've been told different locations.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I will say that Myrtle and Carbon Fang agree that you're going to Verdantia.
And
So it's not Revoria that we're going to. We go into Verdantia.
So what I would like, Carbon Fang, either give me a survival check or a nature check. And because you have the maps, I will give you advantage on either of those checks. Okay, with the 13. Alorium is south of Revoria, and I'm going to give you all this with your 13. Revoria is just north. It's northeast of Alorium, and that's like the furthest northeast you can go and still be in Allied territory. You two think that you're going to Verdantia, which is further northeast than even that.
But we knew from a conversation with Margaret that they were going to a certain country, and we know where that country is, right?
Yes, so you are going to Verdantia, which is to the northeast of Revoria. So technically speaking, all your stories make sense. Eustace would have just assumed that he was going to Revoria, since that's the next place over.
Got it.
since we're heading that direction, then.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So
So basically-
we will likely pass over Revoria en route to Verdantia.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
Carbon Fang, do you share your maps? Like, do you pull it out, or are you just looking at it yourself?
Yeah, I'll share it.
Eustace and or Myrtle, if you would also like to give me a nature or survival check, either with advantage, you may do so.
Okay. Hey, 15.
So a 12 and a 15. Okay. With a 15, Eustace, you're looking at the map. You see Revoria, and you see Verdantia. And you see this big blob in between the two countries that doesn't seem to belong to either of them. And it is not otherwise stated anywhere on the map that it belongs to anyone. It's just undesignated.
That's funny, because this is one of those things of art imitating life, because I was just clicking back and forth on all of the in-universe knowledge places to see if I could find that big chunk in between that does not have a label. So I was just doing that, trying to okay, all right, here we go. What is it?
You in universe and out of universe realize that there's a spot that you're probably going to be going through that does not belong to anybody.
Here be dragons, I guess. Based off the map, it does look like, depending on which way we go, if we pass through, because Verdantia, is it Verdantia or Verdantia?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, okay. So Verdantia. Okay, so over in Verdantia, it borders directly Revoria on its the northern section of Revoria. So we could not pass through that unnamed country, the undiscovered country over there. So we'll see.
Is Hollybrook around?
I didn't know what was going on, so I just kind of was staying out.
You are on a cruise ship, and you're traveling in second class, and it appears you are going northeast.
Okay. What would Hollybrook be doing?
Complaining about something, possibly.
I would say complaining, wanting food and drink, probably. Not wandering around, but being pretentious of some sort.
Would you have upgraded your ring too?
Well, I'm trying to figure out if I even have the money for that. I don't really think I actually do. She would definitely want to upgrade, but
Hollybrook, so the upgrade would cost you 9 gold. You currently have 35 in your pocket.
35's not a lot, so I better quietly suffer in silence. No, actually, I take that back. She would not suffer in silence. She'd be very loud about it. And how 9 gold is just too much for a first class ticket, and there's no way she's paying that much for it.
Give me a charisma check, just a flat charisma check.
Ugh, no.
With a 12, some people hear you and are off put by your whining, but no one says anything. So, are you thirsty or hungry, or what's else on your mind?
So we're in basically, like you said, an airship.
Yes, think of it like a cruise ship, for all intents and purposes.
Probably get a drink, and then just grab a drink and wander around and look and complain and act pretentious.
Okay, give me a performance check. Okay, you do so. You complain and walk around. Going back to Cassandra, you are on the first class. You have lounged in a chair after having a drink. I'm going to give you a choice of a few really random things, and you get to say which one it is. You can either give me an insight check, a history check, a medicine check, or a survival check.
Insight, history, medicine, or survival?
Correct.
I'm going to do a history check because I have a +6 in that.
Okay.
23.
Oh, okay. With a 23 history check, a gentleman approaches you. He is older than you. He's in his early 50s. He is a dragonborn, and he's wearing his finest. He's wearing like a tuxedo. He has a top hat. He has a monocle, and he basically outstretches his hand and says, "Oh, milady, you are slouching so much. Please come join us."
I take his hand and join them.
He brings you to his wife, and as the two of you, or as the two of them begin to speak, they're basically going to talk for a bit, but it becomes very clear, like something is in the back of your mind, like, I know these people, but I definitely don't know these people. Probably before this remedial class, you probably hadn't really hung out with Dragonborns before, and suddenly you now have 2 in your party, and now you're with 2 more, and you can't figure out why you would recognize these people, and then you realize you don't. These people look very similar to a member of your party, and you at first you feel like, am I being racist? But it's like, no, this is a relative. But yes, they do seem very well to do, and in fact, as you look further, you see on the tuxedo a couple of pins on the male side. He has like military pins, so this is a person who was once in the military. The woman wearing a very tight corset because her scales are not as elastic as flesh, but she's wearing a beautiful gown. She has black silk gloves on. She's wearing makeup, which is not uncommon, but is unique. And as they speak, you realize like, I have found family members. Whether this is a parent or not, you're not quite sure. It could be like an uncle or even like a distant cousin, but definitely related to someone you know.
Well, I think I'm going to keep that to myself for a little while.
Okay.
I do declare.
As you speak, they've basically invited you to join them, kind of just mingling about. They have some drinks in hand. You have yours. How would you handle the situation? Are you trying to steer the conversation towards anything? Are you trying to listen in and get information, or are you kind of just passively letting this happen? Like, what do you feel?
I think I'm just kind of hanging out and like getting an idea of what they wanted, like if they were just being polite, or if they, why maybe they invited me to come hang out with them, and like just join in whatever type of conversation they seem to be having.
Sure. Basically, as you kind of try to figure out why they invited you in particular, it becomes quite apparent that the male approached you basically because you were being a little uncouth, in the sense that you were being, like your positioning in the in the chair and whatnot. He's like, I'm basically protecting you and making you not look bad, or at least that's what he thinks.
That's fair, but you know the weird rich girl secret is that they really don't care what anybody thinks about them. But yeah, I thank him for rescuing me from my boredom, and I asked them, I was just I was just struck with this sincere boredom, so I bought a ticket on the first airship I saw. I'm not even sure where we're going.
They look at both. They both look at you, kind of up and down, and you do have like the correct. I loathe to say it, but you have the correct breathing to pull this off. And they're like, oh, whoa.
Wait, are they palpating my skull?
not with any device, just with their eyes.
Okay.
But they look at you up and down and say, well, it appears you have found yourself on quite the luxury ship. We also bought tickets, although we purchased our tickets about 3 months ago for this travel.
Oh, very nice. Where are we going? What are we traveling to?
We are going to the capital city of Verdantia. They appear to be a up-and-coming country, and we are going to work with... And they pause in real life, too. They kind of choose their words carefully, and they say, we're going to do a bit of, not quite diplomacy, but humanitarian work.
Oh, how dreadfully exciting.
But we figured if we're going to go there, we might as well go in style.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Anywhere you go, you should go in style.
Actually, quite recent that the capital city there has opened up a port for this airship, or any airship to begin with. So this will be one of... I don't think we're the first, but I do believe we will be one of the first airships to land in their capital.
Ooh, I believe that's even more exciting. Everyone wants to be the first, but if you can't be the first, at least be close to the first.
Exactly. So we wanted to go, and now we are going. This is my wife. This is Lady Drakara.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
She doesn't really curtsy or whatever, but she kind of gives you like a half nod. And the male introduces himself. He says, I am Lord Vexaroth.
Quite a pleasure to meet you, and I do appreciate you rescuing me.
Yes, of course. And could we also know your name? Where are you?
Yes, I'm Cassandra Morwin.
They're going to make a check.
Please tell me they know my dad.
Okay. With a 16, they're like, Morwin of wherever you're from, Morwin.
Quite indeed. Yes. Oh, you know the family.
Yes, we know them through social circles.
It's the usual way it goes.
We haven't had quite extensive relations, but we have worked with them tangentially on a few of our projects, actually.
Good people, if not droll. If only slightly droll.
But yes, they bring you on, and then they basically ask you, like, oh, well, why are you going on this trip?
Oh, well, I decided I was tired of adventuring school and figured I would just take a little vacation.
You're in adventuring school.
I was.
We gladly embrace you back in the lap of civilization.
Thank you, I appreciate it sincerely.
Although, actually, our interests might align in a bit. Part of our humanitarian work is trying to explain to the natives of this country exactly the benefit of such an establishment and joining in on our industry.
What is your industry specifically?
Oh, adventuring.
You are also an adventurer?
No. I was in the military, and we're trying to create a bit of a pipeline. Some of the more aggressive people who graduate as adventurers and people who gain enough emphasis and experience may join us as part of the governmental defense, so to speak.
Ooh, how exciting.
They're going to make an insight check on you. Not like anything secretive, but basically like, can I talk to you about this? Okay, with a 21. They're going to trust you.
Yay!
And they kind of like lower their voices a bit and they say, it is important that we create this industry because we need our operatives to be able to operate in that country. Currently, we are not sovereign. We have only a cursory relationship with this country. And not only would this spearhead further relations, but would allow us to have feet on the soil, so to speak.
Interesting. I like it. I like what you're doing here. How can I help?
Well, once we go, we're going to be meeting with a few people. We were going to give a very dry explanation of exactly what the academy is, but to have someone who is from the academy, we can forego the fact that you're not currently enrolled. But we.
Well, I am still technically a student. I just decided to play hooky.
Well, even better then. We don't need to lie. They both look at each other and nod and say, well, having someone who has first-hand experience could... And they actually stop and they think and they say, well, actually, what part of the school are you from? And they're basically asking you the in-universe question of, like, what class are you? Not first or second class, but, like, are you a fighter, a druid, or blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wizardry.
Ah, interesting. Yes, we can definitely work with that. Having someone who has experience with the wizarding education system, I believe, would deal some much more influential change. If you don't mind, we'd love to show you about in the capital city. We'll be there for about 2 weeks. You don't need to stay with us the whole time, of course, but we will definitely be having several meetings and events, and if you would like to be a part, we would be more than willing to have you as our guest.
Absolutely. I would love that. Actually, can I roll a perception check to see whether or not I should let them know that there's more of us on this airship?
Okay. Give me an insight check.
Okay. 22.
Okay. So they were surprised to know that you were on this ship as an adventurer. So they definitely don't know whoever they're related to, whether it's IHAS or Carbon Fang. They definitely don't know that they're here.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the feeling that it's probably in your best interest. You can hold that in your hand.
Okay.
You don't necessarily want to show your hand quite yet.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. I would absolutely love to join you. That would be amazing. Will you be up here for dinner later?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, I will come and find you. I need to go freshen up.
Of course, we will be around. We look forward to seeing you again, Cassandra.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I will see you soon.
They both nod. I guess they wouldn't
Perfect.
have called you Cassandra. They probably would have called you Lady Morrowind or something like that.
They can call me whatever they want. I'm going to wander off like I'm heading towards my cabin, but then double back around after a minute or two and head down the stairs in the second class.
Okay. You find yourself back on the second class board. You are in between the eating area and the dorm area.
Do I see everybody else?
Very quickly, once you get to the restaurant, you will see everybody else in a group.
Okay, cool. Can I do a roll to see if I can figure out who they're related to?
Sure. I would like a medicine check with advantage.
That was a 7. That was an 11.
Okay. Well, you're not racist in thinking that they're related, but you are racist in the sense that you can't tell which one they're related to.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go sit down and be like, well, so I think I ran into some of your relatives, to both of them. Like, I'm not sure who they're related to, but it's glaringly obviously that they're related to one of you.
Okay.
What were their names again?
It was Lady Drakara and Lord Vixaroth.
Do either of you know Lady Drakara or Lord Vixaroth?
I don't know. Does Carbon Fang know?
Well,
I don't have any names in my notes, so I don't know.
Does that ring any bell for any of either of us? We're both black dragons, right?
No.
Yeah, no. One of you is green, I think.
Yeah, we're different colors, but the same element.
Yeah, you're both acid.
Which is true to real life.
No idea. It could be a distant relative that either of us would recognize.
So you know that at least it is not your parents. Whether it's a distant relative, you don't know.
Okay.
And Carbon Fang, you also don't recognize the name. But you're not quite certain if you would hear like Lord and Lady type deal.
Well, just fair warning. I don't know that they'll come down here, but if they do, you may want to make yourself scarce if you don't want them to recognize you or figure out who you are.
Right. Duly noted.
Okay.
I'll put on my best human disguise.
Please do. They're also trying to start some sort of adventure pipeline. They want me to come meet with people and show them what a wizard can do, I guess. I have not told them any of you are also here as well. I figured I would talk to you about that before I revealed you.
Yeah, good.
What I would like, this is really out of nowhere. Can Hollybrook give me a religion check?
Okay. Hey.
Okay. You listen. One of the things that you hear is there's cool plants, and also like spiritualism, but more so is the healing stuff, the using these plants to heal people. And you start thinking about the things that you've spoken with the people from the Ice Shroud Dominion. You start thinking about how the god that brought you back works. And one of the things you realize is like, obviously Alorium does not like the god of death. It makes sense for Alorium to work with Verdantia in getting this like medicinal properties to basically ward off death. Now, it makes sense for anyone to want that, but it specifically follows a line that you know where they're trying to kind of go after death as like not just a concept, but as a god. So that piques your interest. Because you got the nat 20 later on, I'm going to give you advantages on understanding a few things, but right now that's as much as I'm going to give you.
Oh.
Ooh.
Interesting.
But yes, so you've discussed at least where you're going. And you also all know that you're going to fly over Rivoria, which again, mountainous, forested with deep valleys, things like that. They also have a strong connection to nature and spirits, but obviously a much different type. And they also have their own herbal medicine and alchemy. However, their herbal medicine will be very similar to the ones that you would find in Alorium, whereas Verdantia is a little bit different.
Interesting.
You have a little bit of time in real life, so if there's anything you would like to do or talk about or whatever, now would be the time to do it. You are in the air, the ship is lively. What is the group up?
Well, it seems we have a lead with something in a base of operations with what Cassandra found with the possible familial connection. So we could use that as a base and maybe impose on their generosity a little bit if we want to save some coin. But as far as the next course of action, I mean, we're on here for another, 6.5 days, right?
Yep.
Everything seems to be going just fine.
Okay, as we're going someplace tropical and all the elves are standing for snobby British people, I would like to go to the gift shop and find some jodhpurs.
100%.
I'm getting off this fucking airship in full khaki jodhpurs, high boots, button up with a shitload of pockets, the hat, the whole thing.
Yes, you've easily find
their own.
So I will add that to your equipment. It costs you 5 gold. That's all.
Perfect.
Anything else that people are doing?
Man, I really don't know. This is cursed decision paralysis for open-ended games.
So the next session, are we gonna still be on the ship, or are we landing, arriving?
You will at least start on the ship. Whether you end the thing in the ship or not will be up to you guys. But
I see.
I mean, that sounds like a threat.
I don't want the next 2 months to be on this ship. Huh?
Yeah, that's you'll start on the ship. Whether you get pushed. Yeah, whether you get pushed off is entirely up to you.
Let me put it like this: the last two sessions, you could have started in a casino, but who the hell knows what's going to happen to the casino?
Yeah. Eustace decides to take his geology pick and start just chipping off some of the floating rock just for a souvenir. What could go wrong?
Gonna wake up in a tank paralyzed.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, so we have some time to kind of think about. So next session, it won't time skip. Is that correct?
At least in the beginning. Depending on how we continue, you might be like, oh, we have like a couple of days of downtime, and then we'll kind of time skip a few days. But it'll kind of depend.
Okay, all right. So time skipping will be kind of under our control and what we get up to. Okay, gotcha. All right. So we can't, or we could just say, all right, well, we'll wait till we land and everything will be fine. So, and then we just land. Like, is that a possible? Yeah.
I would like to do some mayhem on this airship. So,
No fire.
I won't light anything on fire unless I absolutely have to.
You can murder, slice, punch, stab, cut, whatever. Just no fire.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to do in this moment, kind of like as you're, and you have time? On this first day, is there anything that you would do?
I guess we should probably decide who's rooming with whom. Like, we get our own rooms, but who's sharing the bathrooms?
You can group up by 2, and technically Cassandra has her own suite in the first class. So
and if anyone wants to go up to first class with me at any time, just let me know. Like, I can bring up guests.
I would prefer to be able to use the toilet in first class. A little bit of a queasy tum in airship travel, if that would be possible.
I'll consider it. I don't know if I want you in my personal bathroom.
Oh, well, that's I regret to hear that, but please do consider it. I'm very clean afterwards. Just want to make sure I don't catch anything.
Well, it sounds like you guys don't have anything pressing right now, so you've got the rest of the day to kind of do your own stuff. Eventually, you will come back for dinner. I'm going to put some stuff into the chat. You can choose what you have for dinner. It's really not important, at least not that you're aware of. And we will basically pick up after your meal or during your meal, however you would like to do it. Pick up next time.
Huzzah!
Thank you for listening to Remedial Adventuring. The outro song is Thinking Doc by Anachronite, and their various ambient tracks are by Bartify. Our players have asked to remain anonymous, at least for now, but I have been your DM, Adam Souza. I'm putting together the next episode now, which should go live in about 2 weeks, so thanks again for listening, and I hope to see you again. This is how I has became a Republican.